Hi, I'm Bruce Wall, and this is Straight Shootin'. Today we'll be shooting the breeze with damn Yankee turned rebel rocker, Mr. Michael Cartellone. Michael, first I just wanted to thank you for taking time to call me and chat with me, and let you know that we really do appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Bruce. And, I have to compliment you on the great job you're doing with Down South Chookin'. It's really a great website. It offers a lot of really cool information that somehow you get before a lot of other people. So hats off to you.
Well, it helps having friends like you to help get that information. So.
Well, we do what we can.
Before I forget, I wanted to mention that our mutual friend George McCorkle asked me to tell you hello.
Oh, fantastic.
I told him I was going to be talking with you this morning, and I tell you, he has nothing but amazing things to say about you.
Well, that's very nice, very nice. George and I, as you know, were former Nashville neighbors. We lived right across the street from each other quite a few years back, and what a great talent he is. It was a pleasure getting to know him.
Yeah,
great guy.
Okay, well, recently you did the Alice Cooper's Christmas Pudding Show out here in Phoenix with your former bandmates from Damn Yankees, and just kind of wanted to know how that all came about and how did it go?
Well, the way it came about was Tommy Shaw and Jack Blades are longtime friends with Alice Cooper. Alice had called them to ask them if they wanted to become involved in the Christmas Pudding benefit concert that he does every year. And I believe the one that just happened was the fourth or possibly fifth one. Anyway, so Tommy and Jack made plans to go out there, and then basically one by one, Ted and I jumped on board, and it quickly turned into what was going to be the first live Damn Yankees appearance in 10 years. So we were all very excited about the opportunity to do this. So we went out there. It happened back in December, and I just can't say enough. It was so much fun. Damn Yankees had really, in its 5 years of working, had really done a lot of things in a very concentrated amount of time. In those 5 years, we released 2 records and basically toured the world nonstop. So, consequently, it wasn't very difficult to pick up where we left off because we had done so much work together in the time that the band was out and about. We had a rehearsal. We went through the 3 songs that we were going to perform at the benefit, and we just had a blast. It was so fun, and it was literally like those 10 years just disappeared, and we picked right up where we left off.
Awesome.
So it was a great experience, and I can't say enough. It was more fun than we all thought it was going to be.
With that being such a success, did you guys have any more plans to do any more stuff, or was it just a one-time deal?
Well, as it stands now, the 4 of us have very separate careers, and consequently, it makes it very difficult scheduling-wise just to find a time where we can all get together when we all have free time. So as far as Damn Yankees doing something in the future, there's absolutely a possibility because it's not about the desire, because as I've said, we really do enjoy working together. It would just come down to just the feasibility of finding a time where we can all do it.
Certainly.
And we purposely left that band an open door. That band never officially broke up. We just all kind of went off different directions and never found our way back to the point of going back out on tour. I will say, however, though, that during the 10 years' time that I mentioned before, since we had last performed live, there were still many occasions where we did get together and write some songs and do some demos. There have been a couple records that have come out. Tommy Shaw released a solo album called Seven Deadly Zens. Well, we're all on that. Jack Blades just released a solo album last year. Tommy and I are on that. I did a tour with Tommy. I did some shows with Tommy and Jack when they released a record called Shaw Blades. I did a couple solo tours with Ted. Tommy and Jack right now are working on a duet record. So the interesting thing about that group of people is, although Damn Yankees got put on hold, the four individuals continued to work together throughout the years. So it's purposely stayed a very fun, open, close working friendship.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, so basically you guys are together even though it may not be under the same name, so to speak.
Pretty much,
yeah.
Pretty much.
So you're still doing stuff all together. So.
Yeah. You know, it would be difficult to have the kind of experiences like Damn Yankees had, and then the close friendships that develop from that, and then just stop it cold in its tracks. It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah,
those bonds stay, just as the Skynyrd bonds stay.
Yeah.
You know, if Skynyrd was to all of a sudden not be working anymore, it doesn't mean that all of those people would just disappear from each other's lives. You really become part of each other's life.
Sure.
It's like a family. You know,
yeah.
You don't just turn your back.
Well, you guys had quite the chemistry. You know, I heard the first Damn Yankees CD when it first came out, and I remember thinking to myself, boy, that's quite the lineup. You know, I mean,
yeah.
There was such a difference in musical
yeah.
backgrounds between all the guys, and then when you guys came together, it was just such a magical blend.
Well, thank you. It really has something. There's something special about it. And it was apparent that night when we just got up and played those songs. I mean, Alice came up to us at the rehearsal and said, "It doesn't sound like you guys have stopped playing."
Yeah, he's quite the celebrity here. He's
what a great guy too.
Yeah, he
guy.
does so much for charity here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't see Arizona without thinking about Alice Cooper out here. I'll tell you. So
yeah.
So he's everywhere. Every car commercial, every radio station, he's everywhere you look. There's Alice Cooper in Arizona. Let me tell you.
As he should be. That's a position well deserved.
Yeah. Well, back to Lynyrd Skynyrd here. You guys just finished up your 2004 tour.
We did.
And you're already booking dates for 2005.
We sure are. This band is a non-stop machine.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And I keep watching for my dates close to home here, so I can get on and get my tickets there.
Well, they are filling in the calendar as we in every city.
Yeah. Well, that's what the big question I keep getting. When they coming here? When they coming there? When they coming there? I don't know. That's up to their booking agency.
We'll be there. I can assure you.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, everybody thinks I'm your tour manager or something.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Down South Jookin' might have the info about the Phoenix date before even I know.
You guys have said the new CD is planned for release in 2005.
Yeah, that's kind of a broad statement because as it is, nothing has begun yet.
Nothing's begun yet.
No. We were just all together on New Year's Eve where we performed down in Lexington, Kentucky, and the talk is now just getting started about, hey, we should get together and write a little bit, but nothing has happened yet.
Yeah,
so there are no concrete release dates at this point.
I know Johnny and Donnie have got their CD coming.
Oh yeah, now there's a concrete release date. Yeah. Johnny and Donnie are getting ready to release their record. In fact, Johnny and I talked about that New Year's Eve, and he said that they were mixing right now, which would mean they are right in the light is at the end of the tunnel for that record to hit the airwaves.
Yeah, they announced the.
I've heard it's great, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing too. I've heard people that have heard the rough cuts and stuff of the songs, and just tell me that I just can't. That it's just an amazing album. So I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that everyone will be pleased when it gets released.
Are there any other projects in the work for Skynyrd or you guys? I mean, I know you've got several other some special shows coming up, so to speak.
Yeah, there sure are. We have the very next thing that we're doing just a couple weeks from now is a Super Bowl live television show on CMT. It happens the night before the Super Bowl, which is Saturday, February 5th, and it's a live television show. There'll be some other bands performing on it. And then the following weekend, I'm very pleased to say that Lynyrd Skynyrd is going to be performing live on the Grammy Awards.
That's
and
awesome.
That happens on Sunday, February 13th. That show is going to have a Southern rock tribute during the presentation, and we are a part of that. So that's really going to be a fun thing, and quite the honor to perform on the Grammys. It's such a huge show.
Sure.
So we have those two very big events coming up quickly. Then we have some dates in March, and then we pick up again at the end of April, and that's pretty much when the bags are packed and off we go.
You'd mentioned that there was some other bands with you on the Super Bowl show.
Right. I honestly don't know who they are. The shows are going to perform on the show. That's the one that immediately comes to mind.
Uh-huh.
But again, I'll just check downsouthchicken.com and find out who else is going to be on it.
Well, we'll get that up as soon as we have a firm.
Thank you. We'd appreciate that.
As soon as we have firm confirmation on the matter.
Right.
Yeah, I try not to put anything up there unless I know for a fact it's going to happen.
Yeah,
so,
that's.
Last time we talked, the Road Series paintings were just getting off and underway. How's that been going for you?
It's been going very well. I'm very happy with how everything has been unfolding. I kicked off the business in May of 2004, and I staggered the release of the 5 prints. So as we speak now, all 5 prints have been released, and they are all still available. You can still get any of the 5 at my website, michaelcartellone.com, which is also actually linked to the Skynyrd website, so you can find it a couple different ways.
And you can get it from our site too.
The work has been very warmly received, and I've sold prints all over the world. And it's really been a lot of fun watching how the whole thing has unfolded, and it's just kind of created its own little path. There's been some gallery showings since the final release of the last painting. The last painting is the purple one, which is the tribute to Leon with all of his hats. Mm-hmm. There's a gallery show that's in Las Vegas right now at the Aladdin Casino, and it's at a gallery called the Art of Music. And all 5 paintings, as we speak, are hanging up in the Hard Rock Cafe here in New York City, where I live.
Oh, wow.
So that's a very cool honor to have them hanging up there. And I'm in the process of making arrangements for the work to be displayed in some other galleries. So, the idea is to continue the online sales of the prints, but also have some gallery exposure.
Oh, great. Yeah, those are some amazing prints. The whole vision that you came up with on that, the glimpse behind the scenes type of thing there, I just can't say enough about it. I was just so impressed. I know when we first did our first interview together, I was unaware of the paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought them to my attention, and I was just flabbergasted at the
Well, that's very nice of you to
talent.
say. It's really been a labor of love doing this. I spent 3 years working on those 5 paintings, and each one took about 6 months' time.
Uh-huh.
And when I was all finished, it was just a great sense of accomplishment to have seen the whole thing through.
Uh-huh.
And it's really been great the way they've been received.
You kind of got the best of both worlds. You got the art fans out there that appreciate them, and then you have the Skynyrd fans that are becoming art fans because of them. So.
Well, that's been a nice little benefit from this, is that it's, in essence, it's taken those two worlds, the music world and the art world, and combined it in a few different ways. I've painted my whole life, and in fact, I was painting before I was playing drums.
Uh-huh.
I started painting when I was, in kindergarten. Literally, I went to art school the summer in between kindergarten and first grade, and for a good part of my childhood, I thought I was going to be an artist as a career, until I started to play drums, and then that just took over. Although I never stopped painting, so I always had intended one day to really bring it to the forefront. And when I hit upon the idea of painting about my music life, I realized, well, this is just the perfect way to introduce this in a grand scale, because it's really combining the two sides of my personality.
The idea is just incredible. It's just like looking at a snapshot through your eyes at your day. And
yeah,
it gives
well,
you a whole new appreciation.
that was what I was going for. So I'm glad that it's being read that way.
Yeah, it's amazing. I actually had to do a double take on them to look at them to see that they weren't photographs. I mean,
right.
They were just.
Well, thank you. That's the best compliment that you could give.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
They were
I
just
spent
amazing.
a lot of time with very small brushes getting that detail that sharp.
Yeah, it was. I literally had thought it was more digital art versus a painting until you told me otherwise.
Thank you. So. And it's been fun, because I painted those while the band was touring. We have tons of downtime each day just sitting around the hotel room.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, well, I could make creative use of this time. So I just started to carry the art supplies with me and literally painted in the hotel room during the afternoons. So as I was painting each of those 5 paintings, the people in the band were seeing the paintings as they were developing.
Uh-huh.
The yellow painting that has the guitar in it, well, that's Ricky Medlock's guitar that he uses on stage every night.
Uh-huh.
So it was fun as I was painting the yellow painting, because we'd be hanging around in the dressing room, and Ricky would be just warming up on that guitar, and I would, I'd say, oh, let me see. And it was very motivating just to paint the surroundings as I was in them.
And doing it while you're trying to concentrate on your tour schedule was must have been quite the event, trying to get paint to dry get it on the bus.
Well, it's acrylic paint, and they do dry quickly.
Uh-huh.
Even faster when you have a blow dryer, which is what I would do. But the best part about painting these on the road was just the mental escape that I had as I was doing it.
Wow.
The daily routine we have, it's like the film Groundhog Day.
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing day in and day out. The city changes, but you're still in a hotel, in a bus, backstage, on stage, in a hotel, in a bus, backstage, on stage. It just goes on and on. So
Sure.
To have this release and this luxury to be able to paint during the day enabled me just to kind of recharge my batteries and just, turn everything off. And it was great. It was very, very satisfying. It was very mentally and artistically satisfying.
Are you planning your next project or working on another project at this point, or?
Actually, I'm working on another painting. In fact, I'm sitting right across from my easel as we speak, and it is it's a portrait of John Lennon. I'm a huge Beatles fan, specifically John Lennon, and I'm working on a black and white photorealistic portrait. It's a very tight close-up of his face. And I started painting it this past summer when the band was touring. So I think by the time we finished the tour, I had the sunglasses and the beginning of the nose finished. But it was very obvious who it was going to be. So, then getting home this fall, it's just sitting here on the easel, and I work on it, when I can, and it's coming along very nicely. Now, if it's not finished by the time the tour starts, well, it'll be under my arm, going in and out of the hotel room.
Okay, well, when I see it as a show, I want to make you show me it here.
Right.
Yeah. There's and I'm sure you're aware of it, but I heard there's a place here in town. It's a gallery here in town that specializes in nothing but rock stars artwork.
Really?
Yeah, it's they like Grace Slick and all the rock stars work out here.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to find out about that and tell you.
After we can talk about that, off the record.
Okay.
No sense in giving them a plug until I know if they're going to carry my work.
Yeah, there you go. But I'll get that information because
that's good to know.
Yeah, they advertise quite a bit. I know they did a big show, and there was a bunch of people out there that were showing their work. And
very good, very good. Well, there are a few of those out there. Specifically, the one that I mentioned in Vegas that's got my work now.
Yeah.
And it's great that outlet exists because there are a lot of musicians who are painters. Mm-hmm. Speaking of John Lennon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Last time and this was kind of behind the scenes on our last interview here, we were joking around about the Skynyrd cartoons there that you doodle on the bus. Are we ever going to get to see any of those from you? I know.
Only when they become flattering and when they draw them.
Yeah, well, that's true. But yeah.
I haven't actually done that in quite a while, but yeah, I have done a few drawings of everybody, and they're really hilarious, but I don't think anyone would appreciate getting out.
Okay. Well, so basically we have to get releases from all the guys before you release them.
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get on the phone with Johnny. Johnny, we want your cartoon here.
But what comes around goes around. I make myself look just as goofy. So.
Well, a little while ago we were talking about the Super Bowl show there too. How did that whole thing come about there? Can you tell us a little about that, or?
Well, it honestly it just spun off of the CMT Crossroads show that we had done with Montgomery Gentry.
Mm-hmm. Great show, by the way.
Thank you. And it was, and it got the same response that you just gave me. Apparently, it was so, so heavily watched, and it's been rerun many, many times. The response from the show was so overwhelming that CMT said, "Look, we want to do something else with Skynyrd," and then this Super Bowl kickoff party, grew out of that idea. Yeah, so that was how it came to be.
Well, I'll tell you, I was about ready to book my tickets for the New Year's Eve show as soon as I saw that program. I was I was ready to buy plane tickets. I was so impressed with the performance together.
There was just a brief sharing of the stage at the New Year's Eve gig. Uh-huh. The two guys, the Montgomery and Gentry, they came out and they sang "Call Me the Breeze" with us, which happened shortly after midnight on stage. So that was fun. That was fun. But aside from that, it was, it was them performing their concert, and then Skynyrd going up and performing theirs.
Right.
So it wasn't, it wasn't like the Crossroads show where there was all the back and forth interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great show, and it was a huge crowd, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Again, great show, and you've played with just about everybody.
Yeah, I've been very blessed to have a nice little track record there.
So but with Skynyrd, we get a lot of questions. Before we do these interviews, I typically go on and ask people, "Is there anything you want me to ask?" And I think the biggest question everybody wanted to know was, what was your favorite Skynyrd song to do live?
I Know a Little.
I Know a Little.
Mm-hmm. I can. That's an easy answer. I can tell you why too. My father played a lot of big band music when we were growing up in the house, and of course, big band music is great for drumming. So I just always loved big band. Well, I Know a Little. It's based off of a Glenn Miller riff, the way the song starts. So consequently, that is a really fun song to play. And when my parents come out to see the band, my dad gets the biggest smile on his face, and I see him off to the side of the stage, just, he's dancing in his shoes. It's great. So that's a blast to play. Now, it goes without saying that playing Freebird, Sweet Home Alabama, it's an honor to be able to play those songs. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, playing in bar bands that played Lynyrd Skynyrd songs, like most musicians, who played in bar bands. And
of the time, yep.
Fast forward a handful of years, and now to actually be performing those songs with the band and look over at Gary while he's playing the Freebird, realize how fortunate and how lucky I am to be able to do this.
Well, we're fortunate to have you up there.
Well, thank you. That's nice of you to say.
You have a couple very diehard Michael Cartellone fans on the website. By the way, I
do, huh?
Oh yeah. Most of them of the female persuasion.
Oh,
of course.
Okay.
So
well, nothing wrong with that.
They fight over you on the message boards. But one of them in particular told me that she would fly out here and personally wring my neck if I didn't say hello for her, and that's Linda Pop. So I just wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Tell you.
Tell her I said hello.
I will. I'm sure she said.
Very nice.
She is just everything Michael. So. But she did want to know, and you were engaged last time we were interviewed, and wanted to know if you guys had set a date or.
As a matter of fact, yes. My fiance is a beautiful woman named Nancy, and she and I are getting married in April. And life is good. What can I tell you? We're knee deep in the middle of wedding planning right now, as we speak.
So you get home and then you get to dive into that, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So you get married there in New York, or gonna?
Yes, right here in the city.
Now, is she a New Yorker or is she a?
No. All of our family is scattered over the map, so everyone will be traveling into our hometown here.
Oh, so you're gonna have the
pretty much
continental wedding, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Michael, I think we've pretty much covered everything we set out to cover. And
well, fantastic. Thank you, Bruce. This has really been fun, and thank you for the opportunity for having me involved here.
Well, I can't say it enough, Michael. You've been really kind to the site and me personally, and I don't know how to thank you. You've done everything from interviews
continue to do the great stuff that you're doing, and that's a thank you to myself and the whole band, actually.